Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Mostly gentlemen here. How we doing tonight, guys? This camera angle's throwing me all off. But I was just trying to get my Pac-Man screen in there, but I don't know how to do that. But anyway, we'll figure it out. Still figuring out the
There.
new room. The new room. Hey, we are live tonight on Instagram, just to let everyone know. I figured out how to do it.
Fantastic.
Nice.
So, Jeremy, Rav, Jason, Jamie, welcome to Open Sports Mike. Jamie, you're excited about something going on up there, maybe the next game.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, you boys were talking backstage. Let me move that chair over a little bit. Is that better? Anyway, you boys were talking backstage about some baseball, and I wanted to start off with baseball. Trade deadline coming up. Any news coming up? Pirates going to trade Paul Skeens, O'Neill Cruz, ship the whole fucking house for nothing? Why not?
That's insane to me, man. That's insane. I couldn't believe it when I was like, that can't be right. They can't be crazy.
They already shipped sorry, Charles. They already shipped Yuri De Los Santos to the Yankees. Thank you for that pickup.
That's
Okay,
crazy.
bullpen.
Here's the problem that I have with that rumor, Adam. Okay, after your owner Bob Nutting fired Derek Shelton and brought in the interim, he said in his statement, and I'm paraphrasing, "We feel that this guy such and such is the best fit for Pirates baseball. We are committed to putting a winning product on the field," something along those lines. Now, if you are a Pirates fan, present company excluded, and you are to believe that that statement, trading Paul Skeens, trading O'Neill Cruz, trading Ke'Bryan Hayes is a complete contradiction in terms. So as the owner, you've already come out and bullshitted once that you are committed to winning when we already know you're not committed to putting a winning product on the field. So
Sorry, Jason. I'll tell you what it is after you say what you say. I'll tell you what exactly it is, but you can finish up, and I'll tell you exactly what the main ingrediente is to that.
Yeah, I'll just finish up by saying right now, trading Skeens, trading O'Neill Cruz, Ke'Bryan Hayes, any of their other young players would seem to be a contradiction in terms based on what Nutting previously told his fans after he fired Derek Shelton. Go ahead, Jamie.
Well, no. See, here's the whole thing. Putting the winning product on the field. Here's the problem, Mr. Owner guy. Get your team's payroll up. That's half your problem. You won't spend money. It doesn't matter what you say. It doesn't matter who you hire as the GM. It doesn't matter what you do with Paul Skeens. Spend some freaking money. Go George Steinbruner on this. You know what?
You don't even have to go that high. I mean, as long as you get it close to like where the luxury tax starts,
and they're not even close.
That means you're trying, right? Like last 2 seasons before this, the Tigers were abysmal in payroll. I think they had the 8th lowest payroll in all of baseball. And then they finally started spending money a little bit last year and made it up to 12th. And now they're in the middle of the pack. And look what they're doing this year. You don't have to spend top money to win. You just have to spend good money.
Mm-hmm.
Trading Skeens is just insanity. And
that is something the Pirates would do. Look at what they did with Garrett Cole.
Here's the thing. You guys were just talking about money. Jeremy was just talking about payroll and all this other stuff. You're not even spending money on Skeens yet.
Right.
It's not even costing you. He got drafted, what was it, 23?
Yep.
Last year.
Like I just saw him in the College World Series just a few years ago. What on earth are you doing? I mean, it's not even costing you money yet. That's what's crazy. Like
the guy wants to be a winner before he retires.
I think it's more Paul Skeens asking to get out than it is the Pirates wanting to trade him. I think he doesn't want to be a part of an abysmal going nowhere program.
But that's why they got Bubba Chandler waiting too, though.
Right. But at the same time, right now, trading Paul Skeens when the owner says that makes about as much sense as wiping your butt than going to take the crap.
That's why you need dude wipes.
Right. And I think Jeremy hit on a key point, and that is A lot of other fans out there, myself included, feel that sometimes you have to spend exactly the same as the Dodgers and the Yankees in order to be a relevant organization and win in Major League Baseball. That is not true. You have to spend wisely. Take a look at the last few teams that have been in the postseason over the last 2 or 3 seasons, guys. The Milwaukee Brewers, the Detroit Tigers, the Cleveland Guardians, the Texas Rangers. What do all of those clubs have in common? They are considered mid-market teams to small market teams that don't have lengthy, rich individual TV deals like the Yankees and the Dodgers. But the reason why they continuously make the postseason each and every year, because their front offices spend wisely. You don't need, with no pun intended, you don't need to swing for the fences in this day and age. All you have to do is know how to evaluate, scout, draft, and develop the right players. But also, when it comes to free agency, you don't necessarily need to go out and get a Shohei Ohtani or an Aaron Judge or a Juan Soto or a Willie Adames. You need to find guys that are going to fit in with what your team is trying to do and build around them. Okay. In many ways, it's very similar to building an NFL team. Unfortunately, the Dodgers and the Yankees have skewered that perception by cornering the market on the top players. And as a result, whiny baby owners like Dick Monfort come out and say, well, you guys are the reason why we can't spin. Bullcrap, Dick Monfort and Bob Nutting. The reason why you can't spin is because you won't spin. So quit trying to spin the issue and blame other teams. Take responsibility as an owner for your team's problems. That's all I'm saying now.
Actually, good point, Jason. But the Yankees did I still think the Yankees did the right thing by not signing Soto. You could see, Yankee fans they're most that I talk to, like the ones that are on Facebook, they are not complaining at all that we didn't re-sign Soto. They just aren't.
I agree, Dad. That was my dad.
And just real quick on the point, what you were just saying, the great Bob Costas, I heard him say this. What are the Pirates talking about? Worried about the Yankees in the midst? You're in the Central Division, okay? You don't have a lot of these same problems. Like the only team in the Central is the Cubs that really have money, and they don't even always spend money. So,
wide open division.
Yeah, like you're not even like, you don't even have the same problem even the Orioles have with Boston, or Mets. Like it doesn't.
Who's the best team in that division right now? Isn't it the Reds?
Yeah.
It's either the Reds or the Cubs, Jeremy. One of those two teams.
No, it's usually Reds and Cardinals, and the Cubs jump up there every now and then when they get 1 or 2 good off-season signings that year. The Cubs don't consistently make the playoffs, but they make them every 3 years now since their World Series.
The Cardinals have been consistently the best team up until the last year or two. Right. And they're not a team that spends a ton of money. They usually do it in the minor league system, et cetera.
Right now, the NL Central goes Cubs, Cardinals, Brewers, Reds, Pirates.
Yep, I was just going to say that.
And I picked the Cubs to come out of the Central in the beginning of the year. A lot of people picked the Reds because of Terry Francona as their head coach. They are 6 back right now, 6.5 according to MLB standings. The Cardinals are in second, like you guys were saying. Cubs, Cardinals always. But when you think Cubs, Cardinals, you think Socha, McGuire. You think that great home run battle in '97 for sure.
Robert Pujols.
98. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So I heard an interesting thing on the radio today. Now that we've covered the Paul Skeens thing, other than Adam's take on it, what's your take, Adam?
I wouldn't be mad if he left. I wouldn't be mad.
I seriously think it's because he wants out. I don't think it's because the Pirates organization wants to get rid of him. I think he wants to go to a winner where he can make a difference.
I do not want to see him go to pinstripes. That's my only thing.
Right. So
sorry, Jim.
So my question is I just heard something interesting on the radio today that I didn't even realize. Since the All-Star break last year, who's the only team in the American League to have a winning record regular season versus the Tigers right now? And it's the only team.
Is it in the division, Jeremy, or is it out of the division?
It is in the division, and it's the only one. But all of them combined, in or out of the division.
No, I meant the Central or.
No, I'm talking about
West.
all over the American League. who's the
Kansas
only
City would be my guess if you put
Kan-
of that division.
Kansas City's record against us is 2-8 in the last 10.
I'm
The
gonna go the
Minnesota-
Oakland.
Minnesota
I'm gonna
Twins.
go the Athletics.
The Athletics are 1-9.
I'm gonna say the.
I
I'm gonna
just
say the
I
Twins.
thought it might have been a curveball.
I'm gonna say the Twins.
You say the Twins? The
Yeah.
Twins are 4-6.
The Guardians.
Cleveland
The
just
Guardians.
Yeah,
there's
there's
the
nobody
answer.
left. Yeah.
The Guardians are 6-3. Every other team in the American League, Baltimore, New York Yankees, Tampa Bay Rays, Texas Rangers, California Angels, all of them have a losing record.
The Tigers
Casey
might
Alford.
have the two best pitchers in the entire American League. I think
Casey Mize and
Scooble is I think like the right now to me he's the
He
default.
pitched lights out. What was that?
Yeah.
Yesterday, guys? Did he pitch?
Sunday.
Is that yesterday or the day before?
Day
Sunday.
before.
He went all night. He pitched a complete game.
13 strikeouts, 0 walks, 0 runs, and hit 103 on the last pitch to strike the last guy out.
And Jack Flaherty struck out 8 in his start today. He gave them a quality start today
Mhm.
when they beat the Giants.
They played a doubleheader today, didn't they?
I think so. Yeah.
And Javi Baez is looking like a human being, which is a miracle considering what they've been getting out of Baez. Like absolute nothing the last few years.
But at the same
Torkelson's finally
time-
coming around, etc. So yeah, they are. It's either them or the Guardians. I really like the Guardians, and their bullpen is terrific. Even though Class
And they're getting Bieber back. That's just another arm in the arm, and hopefully it stays healthy.
So- I thought that was a very interesting thing that I heard when they were rattling off all the records. I was like, holy crap, I didn't realize we were that dominant in the American League in the regular season right now.
Wow, getting a special guest up there, Charles.
Monkey
Oh
strike.
yeah, it's time for bed there, so got to put it down.
Dylan.
Right?
Yeah.
Hello, Mr. Dillon. Why aren't you here talking about Sunshine Jones?
Yeah, where?
I actually think the Mets are going to beat the. I think the Mets are going to be in the World Series and beat and not the Dodgers.
Oh, I'm still picking the Dodgers. I don't care.
Here's the
Joe
thing
and
about
what do Joe and I always say though, Adam? That postseason format doesn't always favor the best teams. And look at 2023 for an example. Last year was just a rarity, but
Well,
normally
should we
that
bring up the?
postseason format isn't kind to even teams like the Dodgers.
Should we bring up the new format later for college football?
Sure. What is it, 16?
No, it's 12, but
it's still going to be 12. But the top 4 seeds they're going to be based on regular seeding. It's not going to be based on conference champions anymore.
Did you guys see the guy that went on the mound yesterday? I don't even know his name. He's only had like 7 starts this year. And 4 of them have been bad, but the other 3 have been lights out. And this one yesterday was another lights out showing. He went 6 1/3 innings. He gave up 1 run. He struck out 8 and walked 2
yesterday
yesterday.
didn't the Guardians come back and win that game yesterday?
No, no, we won.
Oh, they're
We got
playing
to
the
the-
Giants today.
Yeah.
Hold on, doing research. Hold on.
So think about this. We only had 1 win last season versus the Guardians, and we got 2 out of 4 this year.
Montero is his name. I'm looking at it here.
Yeah, Montero. That's the guy I'm talking about. He's not a top name. You know what I'm saying?
Jeremy, my kid's with you all the way here, buddy.
I think
So Jack Flaherty start today against the Giants. 6 innings, 2 hits, 0 earned, and 8 strikeouts. Not too bad. Oh, the 68 Tigers.
yeah.
Not the Alkaline.
The 84 Tigers is the one I remember the most. They kind of
Howard
just
Johnson, baby.
I can't ever, and I was really little then, obviously, but
Oh,
man, they didn't lose. What was it, 35-5? Like they just
The first
It was
40
over,
games,
and
yeah.
it was over before June. Like they were so far ahead of
And
everybody.
what's weird is nobody
awesome.
realized how close the Tigers got to actually matching that mark before they hit that little skid. When they got to 20 wins, they were 20-5 at the time, with 3 of them being swept by the Dodgers to start the season.
I mean, they had Lou Whitaker and Trammell like my whole
That's-
childhood, literally.
Right.
Like the same
Best
two
double
guys.
play tandem in the game.
Yeah.
Still, and it's amazing that Whitaker did Whitaker get in the Hall of Fame yet?
No, but he should be.
Right.
should
What
be.
I'm saying is, with that record of most double plays of any shortstop and second baseman to play the game, both
Yep.
of them should be in as World Series winners.
Yep. Well, and look at their big horse in that rotation that year, Jeremy. Jack Morris, not only the workhorse for the Tigers in '84, but he also won with the Twins in '91. Came back and
Dude,
won
that
with the
game-
Blue Jays. And
That
what?
game 7 Morse Smoltz combo, Jesus.
That
That
one to nothing.
was.
That's
I'll
still
let you finish. Go ahead.
that's still the best World Series game I've ever watched. That 1-0 victory that Jack Morris had. I mean, the dude flat out pitched his ass off, and he was not going to let Tom Kelly go out to that mound and yank his ass. He said, "No, I'm finishing this bad boy," and he did. But yeah, he and Smoltz, fastball for fastball, curveball for curveball, they were both on their game. It was a shame that one of those teams and one of those pitchers had to lose, because that's still, I think, in my generation at least, that's the greatest World Series game I've ever seen.
And I could hear Rich right now if he was here. He loves to say that these playoff games don't matter as far as legacy as much regular
Oh, they
season.
do.
I could hear him talking to me, but
Rich
he
might
couldn't
pop
even talk
on,
about
guys.
Jack Morris, man.
He's
Speaking
still
of
he's
the-
still feeling Rich is still feeling the side effects. I just talked to him about 10 minutes ago before the show started. He's like, what do you mean it's 8:00 already my time? He didn't even know what time it was. So he said if he feels better in a little bit, he's gonna pop on. So
I like Rich, but I'm personally a little bit offended coming from a Pirates fan when he said Derek Jeter was overrated.
But at the same time, speaking of the 84 Tigers,
I'm really offended by that.
after our shows last week, I want to say rest in peace to Chet Lemon, who died at 70 years old.
Yes.
saw it. And then
Yeah.
Phil
Who died?
Robertson.
He
I
just
don't
died last week.
know. Oh,
Phil
man.
Robertson died too.
I didn't know
Yep.
that.
Yep.
The guy that almost beat out Terry Bradshaw.
Hey,
Here's
Jeremy,
what's
you know
interesting. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Jamie was talking.
what I wanted to say, Jeremy, you know which Detroit Tigers team I think should have won the World Series?
The
But
2006
didn't.
one,
Yeah, the 06 Tigers. I mean,
the one that
I
swept you
think
guys.
they because they even had a better record than the Cardinals. And like I said, you get that year they beat the Yankees. That's when they had Justin Verlander throwing 100 and he was throwing 102 or 103 as a rookie.
Right, and let's listen to that lineup that we had that year, because we still had Scherzer, we had Porcello, we had Nate, the one they called the dog of the rotation in the 5th spot. I think Nate Robertson was his name, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yep. He was a lefty.
Curtis
was a-
Granderson in his prime.
He was a rookie that year too. He was a rookie that year with Justin Verlander.
Curtis Granderson,
Yeah,
the Grandy man.
and
He
that
sucked
was
with
an
the Dodgers.
amazing.
How that team didn't win the World Series baffles me, because I get it. The Cardinals had Albert Pujols, but like I said, I think the
Well, remember,
Tigers
we
on
had-
paper were better than the Cardinals in that World Series.
I think that big break where they allowed Justin Verlander to pitch the last game versus the Yankees and then the first game versus St. Louis was a mistake. I think they
Yeah.
should have let the next guy in the rotation go and kept the rotation the way it
It was
was.
the
because of
Athletics you
chemistry.
beat. It was the Athletics you beat to go to the World Series. You beat the Yankees in the ALDS, but then you
The
beat
Jason
Oakland
Giambi
in the
years.
ALCS.
Here's Josh with the CM Punk pipe bomb.
No,
Steve,
he's not
That's
over
almost
like-
blasphemous
Right,
right
hey.
there.
you want to know what I
No.
think Paul Skeens is?
He's
You guys
not
ever watch?
overrated.
You guys ever watch Eastbound and Down? He's Kenny Powers in the flesh.
He's Justin Verlander as a rookie, throws
Yeah.
100 miles an
Yeah, I know.
hour.
No,
Josh
I'm
is
saying
tossing some
he's got
shade.
No.
he's got the mullet. He's got the attitude. He doesn't care
Skeens
about
is not
dropping.
overhyped. Skeens is the real deal. But the
Look at his
team
girlfriend,
sucks.
Josh.
The team
Do
sucks whenever
overhyped guys get a girlfriend like Libby Dunn? No. Alpha males get girls like that. Are you kidding me?
Oh,
Dude,
don't
the
be
team-
jealous,
the-
Jamie.
the team just I don't know. Like I'd love to see Skeens
Look
go
at
9
Derek
innings
Cole's
every
wife,
game
another
to win or lose himself. And
Bro,
Jay,
gonna
you
be a
love that
Dodger
stuff.
next year.
Jay, do you love that one, huh?
Why?
You know what? Every big name player is tied with the Dodgers. Everybody says Skeens is going to be a Dodger. Oh, this guy's going to be a Dodger. That guy's going to be a Dodger. Okay, we probably deserve that, but really, we don't know that. Okay,
You're
We
really
don't
going to
know.
run the bill.
Okay, Triple S Dylan. You can say that.
Just if you no, Jeremy, if you sign Paul Skeens, just think how many other owners are going to bitch about you guys really running the bill up.
Oh yeah, think about this. If somehow we get Skeens to go with Mize and Scooble, you might as well just put the World Series trophy in our cabinet now.
Here's the thing, though. I think about this with the Tigers all the time. Had y'all kept Verlander and Scherzer, Max Scherzer, all those years, how good would you guys have been? I think the only reason the run ended is because you got rid of the war daddy and grandpa there. Like that was
Right.
Like how good would it have been all those years if you'd have been able to keep?
Think about this.
Right.
At the time, we could have kept Scherzer and Porcello for what we paid Verlander. Porcello went to Boston and was throwing lights out and getting shut out. Scherzer went to the Nationals, throwing lights out and getting shut out. What happened to Verlander? 2 years in a row, blowed out arm.
I just think it's
He was the best pitcher I ever saw when I was younger, though.
Oh yeah, I know. Up until that point, until he hurt that UCL the first time and had to have Tommy John, he was great. He came back
Charles.
and he was good through the end of the season. Then he hurt it again the next year and had to have surgery again. And
Charles,
then
you were saying. Hold on, Jeremy. Charles was talking before all this started.
No, he was right. No, he just finished it off. But like, it's just some teams want to win and some teams just don't. And
Pirates
everybody
don't wanna.
and just Jason and I talked about this when I was talking when I interviewed Jason. It's like, hey man, like it's not the Dodgers' fault that they actually want to win games. Like the Pirate, these owners now have $1 billion. Like you got the best looking stadium in the league in Pittsburgh. Why can't you sign? You can't keep a guy that's like the best phenomenon. That's just insanity. You don't.
It was the same thing with Garrett Cole. He was the best phenomenon at the time with Pittsburgh, and now he's with the Yankees. Or like I said, Yuri De Los Santos, who was in the Pittsburgh minor league system, and he's on the Yankees now.
What about when they had the best closer in baseball and they let him walk away?
I mean, we can keep going. Like Barry Bonds, you had Bobby Bonilla.
Who was the best closer for the Pirates?
Clint Hurdle at the time, wasn't it? Clint Hurdle, right? He was.
Oh, come on, man! He ain't Mariano Rivera.
No. I'm saying in their history, he was the best closer they ever had. He had a 98% save rate.
Right. He's not Mariano Rivera, though. Dude.
Are we talking about Jose Mesa? The year he had 46 saves, but in like 2002.
He's no Mariano Rivera, buddy. I hate to tell you.
I mean,
I'm not saying that.
Wait, who? What closer are we talking about?
Wasn't Hurdle a closer for you guys? And he was doing great, and then you guys just let him walk away?
Clint Hurdle?
Who was the one that was closing? Clint Hurdle was the name that popped in my head, but
Clint Hurdle was our coach.
He's talking about one of your greatest closers that had like 46 saves one year.
Well, no, Jose Mesa had like 46 saves back in like 2000.
I think that's who it is, Jose Mesa.
No,
but, I mean, he was already up there, and he was already established.
No, I'm not talking about that. This is a guy that you guys had not too long ago. I'm talking like in the last 10 years.
Like 2011 when we went to the playoffs?
Yeah.
I'll look him. Let me look him up. Joel Hanrahan.
Yeah, that guy.
Joel Hanrahan, yeah, he walked to Boston.
Yeah, he
He's a
walked
free
to
agent.
Boston and went there and was closing. You guys let him walk out the building, is what I'm saying. Is when he had a close rate that was phenomenal.
Oh, Jeremy,
Henry.
whenever better teams want to pay better money, Jeremy, where are you going?
But what I'm saying is, you guys had the chance to talk to him first. Team re-signing period is always before free agency. That's what I'm getting at.
Doesn't matter. Whenever you want to test that free market as the best closer in the game, are you going to stay for 14 million, or are you going to go make 36?
Right, exactly. Especially in Adam's case, with the way in Adam's case, he's right.
But Bonds, that the difference between the offseason with the Pirates and what he looked like when he went to the Giants. Holy
That's
shit!
it.
I mean, I think about like the Pirates. I mean, they've let the greatest team I've ever seen. Bonds, Bonilla. You go a little closer, Jason Bay. You talk about, he mentioned Garrett Cole. I mean, just some of the guys that have come through there, and it's like they've had a good team, man.
Because they're a stepping stone for like the Yankees or the Mets or the Dodgers. That's what the Pirates are.
We usually call the Pirates the AAA team for the MLB.
Yeah, because they go somewhere else and get successful.
Different terms, but same concept.
You know,
Jeremy, Charles, go ahead. Hold on. I don't know, Charles, were you done?
Yeah, I was done.
Okay. All right. Jay, what are your thoughts on all this craziness?
all this craziness as an overall baseball fan, as a fan of the game, the history of the game. I remember in 2013, 2014, when the Pirates went to the postseason as a wild card team, 2 consecutive
74
seasons.
regular season.
Thank you, Jamie.
And that was the last time. It was also the last time until 2024 last year that nobody won 100 games in the league.
Sorry
to interrupt. Go ahead.
What I was trying to say was I remember when the Pirates made the postseason 2 consecutive years as a wild card team, PNC Park was completely sold out. It was packed to the gills. There were Buccos fans waving their version of the terrible towels. They were in that game even when their team was trailing, when their team eventually lost. They lost to the Giants, I think, in 14 and 13. I think they lost to the Cardinals. I don't remember. But the point I'm trying to make is that as a baseball fan, that made me happy, because to see a team with as much history as part of the game as the Pirates, Pittsburgh is a great sports town. It's a great baseball town, but a great sports town in general. And I was rooting for those teams when they went to the wild card. I got excited when PNC was packed to the gills, not a single empty seat. And as the thing that's most tragic about all this is all the generations of Pirates fans that have been lost because they've had ownership not make at least any attempt to show a devotion to winning, regardless of how much money they spend or who they bring in. And you would think that because Bob Nutting, and Adam, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Bob Nutting was owner of the Pirates when they made those wild card appearances. If I'm the owner of the Pirates at that time, seeing all those fans flock into that beautiful ballpark, sell it out, root for their team until the last out, till the 27th out, I would have used that as a catapult to say, hey, Pirates baseball is back. Let's build it back up, guys. Let's keep it going. But he didn't do that. He didn't seize the opportunity. And look, say what you will about the Dodgers, say what you will about the Yankees, but there comes a point in time where owners like Bob Nutting and Dick Monfort and John Fisher have to stop playing the we are small market card and start facing facts. You have an obligation to your team, your fan base, and to the rest of the league that does spend to put the best possible product out there on the field. Is there going to be a season where you win? Sure. Are there going to be seasons where you lose? Yes, that's part of sports. But quit using the Dodgers and the Yankees and the Mets as excuses for not owing it to your fan base to put it. They spend their hard-earned American dollars going to your team to watch your bullcrap product on the field. You owe them something more than what you're giving them now. That's all I got to say.
Guess what a lot of that bitching, Jason, has resulted in? The Yankees and the Dodgers poaching all the Pirates' best talent.
Look. as a Dodgers fan, I'm excited about them getting guys like Shohei Ohtani and getting guys like Mookie Betts and getting guys like Freddie Freeman. Do I necessarily agree with the way the Dodgers corner the market on a lot of these big name players? No, I don't. I do believe that every team should have fair rights to go after these big name players. But the bottom line is that the Dodgers get these guys not only because of the hefty checkbook, but because they have devoted to winning. Stan Kasten and Mark Walter and Andrew Friedman at the end of the day have proven that regardless of World Series or not, A, they're going to win their division. B, they're going to be in the postseason every year. And if I'm a player who not only wants to make money but wants to win, I'm going to take that any day of the week and twice on Sunday over just getting the money and playing in Pittsburgh or Cincinnati or Tampa or Sacramento, Oakland, Riverside, Delta City A's, whoever the fuck they are now. Sorry.
All right, I'm going to go around the room and ask a question. Of this Pirates roster, besides Cruz, Reynolds, and Skeens, who is starting on your team off of this lineup?
Skeens, Jared Jones when he's healthy though.
You said a key word there. When he's healthy, so he's probably not starting on any lineup.
He's out for the whole year because he's having Tommy John surgery.
Right.
Or maybe
I'm talking about on your roster right now. Of the three people I just named, who else on this roster would be in your starting lineup?
I don't know the roster, so somebody.
I'm not talking bench. I'm not talking bench. I'm talking starting lineup.
Just a second, I'll grab my phone and take a look.
Okay. All
Mitch
right.
Keller.
I know. I just posed this question on everyone. I know.
They had a Mitch Keller.
I was going to say Ke'Bryan Hayes, but when I found out that he has the 4th or 5th lowest OPS in all of Major League Baseball, I'm like, yeah, probably not.
Mitch Keller.
I think McCutchen could probably DH for like I could see him as a DH on the roster.
You guys heard what I said? I said Mitch Keller. Because, like I said, I don't want any of their bats. I want their pitchers because their pitching is their strength. It's the batting that is their problem.
Mitch Keller was what, 2 games over 500 last year?
Huh?
Mitch Keller was what, 2 games over 500 going on year number 8?
Yeah, but if you put him on the Yankees as a veteran, I think he wouldn't look bad with the current rotation they have now with Cole out.
The thought is like Crochet's been better. Crochet's been better on the Red Sox as opposed to the White Sox where he had under 500. If you put him in New York, then yeah, he'd be better.
All right, so
White Sox
Rab's going after McCutchen.
Prospects.
Jeremy's going after Mitch Keller. Jeremy?
No, he stole my thunder. If I was going to go for any of them, it would have been McCutchen for leadership because we're a young team.
Yankees already had McCutchen. We already tried that.
No, I'm talking about here in Detroit. Because I have no faith in Spencer Howard.
He's probably the only hitter I would take. But like I said, I would poach their pitching. No offense, but
you guys can keep Joey Wentz. He looked awful in the postseason.
They're not going to get rid of him, but I would Bubba Chandler once he comes up.
I'm not exactly sure what you're getting at, Adam. I mean, I'm not exactly following.
I think he's trying to find out the overall value of the rest of the Pirates roster. Meaning, if you took those 3 guys that he just mentioned off the Pirates roster, is there anybody else of either trade value that you would see benefiting your team?
Yeah.
No.
They
don't have a very good team.
I just looked at the batting average.
Starting in their bullpen pitching. No, I wouldn't take any of their hitters.
The only guy on the roster that I would take is probably Brian Reynolds, the outfielder. I think Brian Reynolds is probably
right. But I took him off the list. I said Cruz, Reynolds, and Skeens.
Oh, I'm sorry. In that case, then I can't take anybody. I'm sorry.
I can see you guys going after Tyler Harrington. Maybe another arm in the bullpen.
I could see David Bednar. Somebody take a shot. He hasn't been any good this year, but somebody would. I think somebody take a shot.
There's not much on this roster. That's what I was getting at.
Yeah, I know.
There's nothing to be excited about.
Well, Adam, Rich will tell you the same thing. I said it. all your best players are your pitchers. Your hitting is nothing to be excited about.
I mean, it's exciting watching Cruz hit a single home run with no one on.
But I say most of the teams that would scout your players, they'd want your pitchers.
Pretty much.
Actually, I would take Tommy Pham just because I want to see him get into a fight with a Dodger fan beyond the left field wall, man. He would punk ass some Dodger fans out there.
And that's another thing I don't understand. We signed all these people that were all over 30 years old. We brought in no one young, brought in nothing entertaining. I mean, God, like $1.5 million, we couldn't go out and sign Alex Verdugo, play in the outfield. He's 28 years old.
Yeah,
He's
but guess
better
what
than-
that means? At least in July and August, you're gonna, because you got all these older guys that are on expiring contracts. It means most of your prospects are gonna get called up to the big leagues in September, and you're gonna have a lot of those guys are gonna get their opportunities.
Yeah, but that's like, unless you're playing a playoff team, they're all playing against their other AAA guys.
Yeah, but I mean, you've got the Pirates
it's
do
the
have some
same-
good prospects once they come
It's the
up.
same. It's the same balls they're playing down in AAA.
You know, guys, to some degree, the Los Angeles Dodgers are dealing with this right now because even though we're still a first place club, we have an old team. Average age of the Dodgers this season is 33 and a half years old. And right now, based on everything I've seen on Dodgers Twitter, because I follow a lot of accounts there and I listen to a lot of the broadcasts, a lot of people want Dalton Rushing to play. A lot of people want some of these younger kids that we have down on the farm to play because they're starting to see some of these great older players, these guys who produce at all-star levels, start to tire down a little bit. So in a way, the Dodgers are kind of dealing with the same thing, even though we're still getting production.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, you're getting mad. You're still getting more production out of these guys.
No, I agree. Yeah, I agree. I'm
Right,
not
but
missing
because
I'm
they
watching-
spend so much, because they spend so much money, Adam, he's saying a lot of their prospects don't get the opportunity to play. They get shipped out.
No, it's kind of a reverse situation than of what the Buccos are dealing with. Just on a
but
different level.
The Buccos are going to by the end of the year, the Buccos are going to have a bunch of prospects playing on the big club, and the Dodgers won't be.
That's what I was just saying. A lot of these guys getting called up, they're all going to be, unless they're playing a playoff team, are going to be playing against AAA guys, the same guys they're playing against now.
Right.
The Dodgers and Yankees are different in the sense in the fact that everybody's blocked all the time, and like you can't bring guys. What they do is it almost makes the team stronger. They could go out and trade and get those guys. That's what the Orioles haven't learned yet. You got to trade some of your guys and actually.
The one thing we're getting better at now, since not signing Soto, is we have a mixture of veterans and young prospects that are playing on this team that are getting playing time, and it's gelling well together.
I have a quick question.
Since we've not signed Soto to that big deal, we're starting to play a lot of our younger guys now.
Corner, sure.
All right. Since over the last 10 years, this one team has been considered a poverty franchise. They have never ranked better than 30th in payroll, yet they've made the playoffs 7 out of 10 years. Who is it?
Kansas
Tampa
City.
Bay Rays.
Tampa
Yes.
Bay Rays,
Yes, Tampa.
exactly.
Damn it. I knew it was one of those two.
And
And
why
why
do
do
they
they-
do that? Because they draft and they develop their players through their system very well.
pitching, and I think they've had the two best managers. I think back to back, Kevin Cash and Joe Madden. Kevin Cash is phenomenal on the margins. He gets the
Kevin
most.
Cash was a former Yankee assistant coach.
He makes Kevin Cash like pushes buttons every year. The Bullets finally ran out of the gun last year. I have no doubt, like if they keep Kevin Cash, they'll do well.
And the Tampa Bay Rays, probably the best example of why you don't need a fat checkbook to put a winning product on the field.
And regardless of if they made 7 of 10 years in the playoffs, they're still not even remotely putting fans in that stadium. They might be now because they're in the AAA or the home of the Yankees, I don't know what it holds. I have no idea. But I mean, they
Up
were
to
not even
10,000
close.
people.
They were
Yeah, he
not
said
even.
it.
They were not even close to filling out Tropicana Field.
I'm not even sure they're staying in Tampa. I mean,
They're gonna move to
I'm thinking
Orlando.
Orlando. They might become the Orlando Dreamers and Orlando Rays pretty soon.
Yeah.
I don't know. They're having a lot of trouble there. But whoever that situation is, on the field, they're going to have a good team. If they ever get money, they're going to do well.
Tropicana Field
Orlando,
was-
they'll be able to. If they move to Orlando, they'll get money.
They might be
Tropicana
moving
Field
to
was-
Charlotte too. Don't leave out the Charlotte Bats.
Yeah, but they want to keep. They said they want to keep the team in Florida. They're not going to move them out of Florida.
Jason was going to go.
The Tropicana Field was built way back in the early 90s when they thought they were going to land the San Francisco Giants. And when the Giants owner sold the team to Peter McGowan, McGowan yanked that deal and told the city of Tampa, not so fast. We've already got private funding for a new ballpark that eventually became Oracle Park. So that's how far
Beautiful park.
back Tropicana Field goes. And that was in 93, 94, 95, I believe, if I'm correct. If I
Yeah,
remember
they were
correctly.
gonna move east, and that was
1998 was the race first year, I think.
I don't
was that
think
close.
the league wanted them to move, and I don't want to go veer off too far, but I don't think the
Right.
league wanted the end of that Dodgers Giants rivalry.
Nope,
I'm not so
nope.
sure that they didn't. They wanted, because that would have been it had they moved to Tampa, but they got a deal done in San Francisco. I don't think they wanted, because that goes back to New York, even the Brooklyn
Yeah.
Dodgers
That
and the
was
New York
some of the
Giants.
best. That was some of the best in the '90s. It was what usually Giants, Dodgers, Braves.
Yep.
Them
Well-
three up at the top always. Because you remember back then they only had the two divisions.
Yep. West
There
and
was
East.
no
That's it.
wild card.
Will
Well,
Clark,
there was no
one of my
wild
favorite
card then.
players, was
No,
there.
95
wild
was
card
the
then.
first year they introduced the wild card. But like before that, you had to only win your division to get into the playoffs. You couldn't come in second.
Jamie, the two divisions were two divisions and what 10 teams in each division.
Right, but like I said, 1995 was the first year
16,
they had
I'm
the
sorry.
wild card. Because the Yankees were the first team to ever win that wild card.
Exactly right. Exactly right. Great series too with the Mariners that they almost won, with Griffey at the plate there, scoring in the last game. Randy
They were
Johnson. was great.
4-2, and
Yeah.
I read your
I
team's on
always,
the bubble.
I
was
always,
it?
I always thought the '94 Yankees they probably would have won the World Series that year because they had the best record in all of baseball prior to the strike. So I don't know.
Rav, your team's on the bubble. What are you guys doing during the trade break?
Bubble is being kind. Orioles were terrible the whole first half.
Sell for more.
You didn't watch Matt like really flame him up on the on the video like I did with Matt.
Yeah, but
no
Rav,
pitching.
it's got to be selling for more prospects, probably, right?
I don't know what the Orioles are doing. You're not signing guys long term. You're not extending Gunnar Henderson. You're not extending Adley Rutschman. You're not extending Jackson Holiday. You're not signing long term contracts. You're signing all these 1-year deals. It's like if you're dating a girl, you're staying in situationship. You ever meet people, guys? Maybe this is none of you guys. You're living with a girl for 10 years and you don't marry her, and you just kind of that's what the Orioles are doing. You're not committing to anything. You fire the manager, but you keep the general manager. You're kind of you're not going for it. You're kind of just staying in the middle. Bubble is too kind of a word.
I read that in an article today, so I figured I'd say it.
The only thing we do like is the way Jackson Holiday is developing. He's really coming. He's really developing right before us. I think he's getting all-star consideration. Ryan O'Hearn, I think, has been really good. He had a home run again tonight. I was watching that before I came on with you guys.
You're probably, unless something dramatically changes, you're probably going to be selling at the deadline for more prospects.
Charlie Morton got a good start. He finally got a quality start. So now he's up to 1-7. It took him all the way to like Memorial Day to get a quality start. So good for him. Trevor Rogers was really good, I thought, the other day. But
Charlie Morton. He was a pirate at one time.
He was.
He's
and a
41
Tampa
years
Bay ring.
old. He's 41 years old. The only thing that's
Yeah.
keeping him on the roster, I think, is the fact that they're paying him so much. They
He
pay
ain't,
him
on,
like
he
15
ain't
million.
no Nolan Ryan throwing no hitters at 41, is he?
Oh, he's like the Eddie Harris of the Orioles.
Vaseline ball, right.
Brad Jassu,
Snot ball.
are you trying to tell me Jesus Christ can't hit a curveball?
Up your butt, Joe Boo?
Up your butt, Joe Boo.
And welcome to Jacobs Field next week, where it's Die Hard night. Any fan that was alive the last time the Indians won a pennant gets free admission. That was my favorite line in the movie.
Right?
Oh
I'm
man,
sorry.
that was, I think Major League really summed up baseball back then too. Like it was very it was like the craziest thing you could think of, a good Indians team, which never happened. They had the ugly stadium, the ugly uniforms, the team was terrible, and they actually like nobody would have thought that they would win the division. That was insane. But they actually became a good team not too long after that. So I think maybe they were inspired or something by the movie.
No, the best scene in the movie was when Squin fell in the pool and Wendy Peppercorn had to save him.
Oh, the Sandlot.
Work, yeah, from Sandlot. This
You know-
magic moment.
You know, they went on to have 6 kids. You know that, right?
You little pervert.
Yep.
Did they really?
That's what it says at the end of the movie.
Yep.
When they're going over like the field and like they have them all disappear at the end, like where they played in the position. It says Squin married Wendy Peppercorn and they had 6 kids. It's great.
I think Bull Durham was really good too. Bull
Yeah.
Durham, I think, was like, especially now, me living here in Winchester, no longer living in Baltimore, like watching minor league baseball. It's fantastic. It's similar to what people think. Like there's groupies there, like the real groupie chick, the real good looking groupie chick was there that Crash was interested in. You got an old guy, just he's there, he's gonna get cut. It's really, really good minor league baseball. I thought Bull Durham was really good. Kevin Costner. I know everybody likes Field of Dreams better, but I really like Bull Durham. I think that just veer off into that.
Field of Dreams was more of a family baseball movie, and Bull Durham was more of a baseball movie.
But at the same time, there were some great parts in Bull Durham too. But
Yep.
yeah, and if you go to football, my favorite comedy still is The Replacement.
Keanu Reeves. Was that his first movie?
No, his first movie was Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Holy cow. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. I haven't seen that one for a while.
way. This is beef
Look at
oven,
that
and this
fat
is so
mamma
good.
jamma.
What was his question? Or what, Josh, what was your question?
I didn't know what it was. Maybe.
I don't know what it is either.
A football movie, I think, any given Sunday, to me is inspirational. I mean, of all time. I think a lot of people would say Revenge of the Titans, but the speech that Al Pacino gives in the locker room before the game, inch by inch, play by play, and we fight, we claw for that inch. The inches are all around us as in life. I thought like that was fantastic. I became the biggest Al Pacino fan because of that speech that he gives in any given Sunday. I thought that to me was one. Remember the Titans was good, and The Longest Yard was my dad's favorite movie, the old version with Burt Reynolds.
So Rudy used to be my favorite football movie until Joe Montana went on the Jim Rome show one day and said 96% of what went down in that movie is bullshit. I'm like,
Right.
F you, Joe Montana. That movie inspired the shit out of me. F you, Joe. So, like, in particular, you know that scene where the actor who plays Dan Devine is just working at his desk, and then all the players go in and drop their jerseys on the desk and say, I want you to give my spot to Rudy, give my spot to Rudy. Joe said that never even happened in real life. He said, in fact, there was only 1 or 2 guys on the team that actually went up to Dan Devine and said, I want you to take Rudy's spot. The whole team didn't do it. I'm like, F you, Joe. You just ruined my favorite football movie, you prick.
Yeah, but
Seriously.
wouldn't you rather
I
know the truth? Like, wouldn't you rather? I know it's a movie, and they gotta dramatize it.
And
But
I'm
but
not
I mean, wouldn't you
gullible.
rather know the truth about what really happened?
Especially since it was partially a biopic, yes. And I'm not gullible. I understand it's entertainment purposes, but still, when you're doing a movie and you're making a biopic, you do want a good portion of the story you're telling to be based on factual truth. For Joe Montana to go in and say, "No, 94% of that movie didn't really happen in real life," I'm like, "You jerk." So anyway, I don't
You know,
really
you
have a favorite.
watched. It's like you watched the Woodstock '99 tales, and
Yeah.
everyone said it was so bad, and then
Right?
I don't
Right?
know. I lived. I was there. I had a good time. I
I'm
mean,
old
yes,
enough.
yes,
I'm
it
old enough
wasn't
to.
the greatest living conditions. I know you're talking rap, but what do you expect? This is 1999. A fucking small pizza and a bottle of water were $22 fucking dollars, and this is 99. Like we're going to a 4 or 5 day festival. What did you expect? These people didn't bring a lot of money with them. I mean, they were expecting prices to be normal, and they just gouged the shit out of them. Man, I mean, you went shopping at Walmart on a Saturday. You got to pick either going to Walmart to get something to eat or Friday, and then you're standing there and you're with all these people that were at the show, and half of them don't even know where they're at. And I loved it. And like you look at Walmart, that was the emptiest I've ever seen any Walmart. It looked like it was just getting built. It was
I've
that
never
empty.
seen an empty Walmart.
It was so empty. They were not ready for it. They were not ready for what was about to happen.
When did Walmart even start? I'm trying to think. Walmart was around in '99. I think it was, but
It originated
Walmart?
in the
was.
state of Arkansas. Bentonville,
Walmart
Arkansas.
was
Well, it was
founded
in
in
Rome.
July
It was in
2nd,
Rome, New York in '99.
1962.
It was definitely in Rome, New York in '99.
July 2nd, 1962, Rav.
So, Charles, I actually was going to share an interesting story with you when I was on last time because I have some cousins that were born and raised in Baltimore. And I remember in 1989, I went to Baltimore with my family to go visit them. And my mom's brother, who graduated from the academy in Annapolis, settled in Baltimore, and he took us to see an Orioles game. And I still remember vividly, it was at Old Memorial Stadium, and the Orioles were playing the Rangers. And this was a game where Jim Traber, Terry Kennedy, and Eddie Murray all went back to back to back in a 7-2 win. And Mike Flanagan pitched a complete game.
Yes.
Complete game, 4-hit shutout. That was one of the best games I ever saw in life. There you go. And it happened in Baltimore, Charles.
And you mentioned 1989, which is probably the year where I decided where I want to be a sportscaster. Was 1989, the 1989 Orioles. We were terrible in '88.
Yes, you were.
Horrible. They fired the great Cal Ripken Sr. and the 1989. Nobody expected anything. I was so I remember that game. I think I watched it just about. I really wanted to. That was really helping me say, man, I want to be a sportscaster, man, because this is great to watch these Oriole games every day in '89. That was fantastic. My favorite year in baseball by a mile. Like that in '97 when I had Dave Johnson.
Was that the Brian Anderson year in '97?
Well, for us,
Brady Anderson.
Brady Anderson.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Brian,
Brady.
Brady.
Brady Anderson when he went nuts with hitting the 50 home runs. Yeah. When he was on steroids and all that.
Right, that was the juice. That was the
when he was all juiced.
That was the allowed to make it entertaining, and we're not going to say you did it, and then we're going to say you did it later, just so the MLB got all their fans back. That was some bullshit. That was a bullshit move.
That was a dick move, man. Dick move, Brady.
You know what I found out?
Just overall, like,
I'm sorry.
just overall, it was a dick move. Like, the MLB ran on it, and these guys are hitting bombs like there's no tomorrow. And then all of a sudden, they're like, yeah, you're juiced up. You're not getting in the Hall of Fame. But they saved the game. If that home run chase didn't happen, baseball would be a whole different sport.
Yep, ironically.
Well, no, baseball's good now because you got the pitch clock and everything.
No, Jamie, you have no idea how bad baseball was like after the strike era. There was nothing. No one was interested. All of a sudden,
The
you
Yankees
look
were
in
building a dynasty then, though, in 98, 99, 2000.
That's right. Maybe he's in New York, so maybe he doesn't understand because I think
Jamie,
that's everybody. That's New York.
I remember in 1995, remember the strike not only wiped out the second half of the Major League season in 94, but it also bled into the first, I think, 20 or 30 games of 95. When the strike finally ended in 95, I remember driving down to LA. I wasn't going to go to a Dodgers game, but I remember driving past the freeway access to Dodger Stadium, and there were literally rows and rows and rows of Dodgers fans with signs saying, boycott MLB, boycott the Dodgers, don't give them this, don't give them that. That was in 95. What Adam is trying to bring up, Jamie, is that that year in 98 with Sosa and McGuire, even though it turned out to be the biggest fraud, one of the biggest frauds in all sports, it reinvigorated our love for the game. And it showed us how great the game can be and how great it is, even though it happened under the wrong circumstances. Before that, baseball they were scuffling, Jamie. They were scuffling. They were scuffling trying to get advertisers. They were scuffling trying to get sponsors. And nobody wanted to go to games. None of the major networks wanted to pick up their broadcasts. Ironically enough, it took Sosa and McGuire to bring them back. And even though it turned out to be, again, a big fraud, it happened for the right reasons.
And the one thing that wasn't a fraud around that time was Cal Ripken's 21-31. That was the other thing. That was not a fraud. That he broke the record, Lou Gehrig's record, that had everybody on the edge of their seats like the whole time. But that, and I think more the McGuire and Sosa, and McGuire and Sosa, of course.
Cal Ripken, that was 95 when he did that.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
What about Pedro, 5'10", 160 pounds, throwing 100 miles an hour?
Pedro
Martinez.
Pedro Martinez for Delano DeShields. Don't even bring up Pedro's name to me, please. All-time great. But how the hell they traded Martinez for Delano DeShields, I still don't know. La, 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 la.
Great trade.
Bullshit trade. Bullshit trade.
Right. But I mean, baseball was so bad, and I loved the game. I just wasn't into it. And all of a sudden,
me too.
There's on paper, like you're looking and you're going, oh, these guys got 50 and 50, and then all of a sudden ESPN even picked it up. I mean, even they were trying to bring baseball back. They would cut to the games like the Chase or the Derby. I mean, and everyone was all of a sudden glued to these 3 home run hitters that were just going nuts.
Jeremy, we've hogged all your screen time. What do you got to say about that, man?
No, it was a great time in sports. It's a horrible time on what they did to him after, because the league promoted them to use that back then. And then once they made it illegal, they said, oh, they were doping. They can't get in.
Yeah, it was bullshit.
Now, the only ones that continued doping after that was Clemens and Bonds.
Bonds never got caught.
He may have never got caught, but there was enough evidence and witnesses.
Say that again. Say that again. They never did what?
He never got caught.
But he's not in the Hall of Fame.
He never got caught.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's right. Oh, yeah.
Clemens got dirty once, if I remember right, because he had to miss 15 games for the first one.
I mean, they've turned it into the Hall of Very Good. You got no Barry Bonds. You got no A-Rod. You got no Mark McGuire. You got no Sam. I think Sammy either, right? He's blacklisted. You got no Pete Rose. Like, come on. What are you doing? I don't have any.
I just realized I'm all the way in the corner now because our biggest Sunshine Jones fan is in the building.
Wait a minute. What did you call me? What did you call me, Jeremy?
Our biggest Sunshine Jones there, because Trevor Lawrence and Daniel Jones has about the same stats.
Hey, by the way, at least when Trevor Lawrence and the Jags turned it over 5 times in all home playoff game we won, unlike your Lions did against the Commanders.
Hey, I wasn't talking about my Lions. I was talking about Daniel Jones, who did the same thing versus the Vikings that year.
Dylan, you're really gonna go there. You're a Jags fan. Nobody outside of you in Florida actually likes the Jags.
So
Well,
what?
there's
So
about
what?
five
My
other
team.
people.
So what, Jamie? My team's 2-0 against you. Sorry, Bills in the playoffs.
Why does that doesn't even matter now?
Get to the playoff.
Yeah, the Bills are going to be in the playoffs next year. I don't know about the Jags.
Jason, you
Jags
got to
are
admit that was the right
Jaguars.
pick, right? Just get to the playoff.
Just get to the
Jacksonville
playoffs. Playoffs? We talking about playoffs. We're gonna make the playoffs.
Travis Hunter ain't gonna do it all by himself.
Here's a question. Here's a question I
Huh.
found out this week. I was doing research for the channel, and this blew my mind. This is for you, Adam.
Go ahead.
Terry Bradshaw's number isn't retired in Pittsburgh.
It should be.
Okay.
Like they have
okay,
only three
okay,
retired jerseys.
okay.
I don't
Bet
understand.
no one wears that number.
So why
the
don't they
Steelers
retire?
don't really retire numbers. They just kind of push them to the side and
They
say,
put him in the
"You can't-
museum.
You can't wear that jersey." They won't retire it for some reason.
He didn't retire. Yeah,
So I
but
just want everyone to know. According, I guess you can only go 1 hour on Instagram Live, and it just shuts off. So I didn't know that because it's my first time.
yeah, but
using
Terry
the
won it.
Instagram.
Terry won it life. Him and his wife making Rachel. Woo.
But I just wanted to let everyone know if they get into the Instagram thing after an hour, it shuts off.
Like, so, but I just thought like the Steelers have like 3 retired numbers. Like Joe Green, Franco Harris, and I forget the other one. They're retired.
Mean Joe Green.
So like, but why don't they? The Ravens are kind of doing the same thing, which why I was looking it up. But like, I don't understand that. Why? But Bradshaw's even crazier. I don't even remember him playing. Like, it's been, when did he stop playing? 83. I don't even.
Yeah, then we
I
really hit the Bubby Brister years, the Mark Malone years, the
See, yeah, I
Oh
remember
my
those
God.
guys: Bobby
Warner.
Brister, Mark Malone, Neil O'Donnell, etc.
I think the next
Stoner,
number,
Adam.
next number
What's
the
that?
Steelers are going to
Clint
retire.
Don't forget Clint
Former offensive
Storner.
lineman Tunch Ilkin.
Clint Storner when he played in the UFL. Then he went to Pittsburgh. He was Terry Bradshaw's backup. Clint Storner.
Dude, Adam, your son keeps tossing shade in the chat, man. Keep
I
coping,
see
man.
that.
I just think like several of these teams have these moratoriums on numbers, so you're not passing them out, but you're not retiring. Like Ray Lewis isn't retired. Like, why not? If you're not gonna,
Ernie Stutner, that's our other retired number, 70.
Ernie Stutner.
Is it? Yeah, Charles. Is it? Because,
Stutner?
is it what? Is it? Is Ray Lewis' number not retired because of what may have happened Super Bowl week in Atlanta?
no, they're doing kind of the same thing the Steelers are doing with Bradshaw. They're saying it's not retired, but they don't use it. So, like, I know the Orioles had this like for years with Cal Ripken Sr. They thought they were going to retire the jersey, but they never did. So they just took the moratorium off and eventually gave it to Jackson Holiday. So a moratorium on a number is not uncommon. Like for a player to recently retired, they just wait 4 or 5 years and then retire it. But like Bradshaw, you're into 40 years. Like, what are you what are you waiting on?
I mean, nobody's wearing 12 in New England. Nobody's wearing 12 in Pittsburgh. Nobody's wearing.
88. No one's wearing 88 anymore in Denver.
Well, I think Brady's actually retired. I think they actually did take the jersey off. And but
Yes.
Bradshaw is like, that's like insanity. Like,
The LA Dodgers guys would only retire numbers of players who went in the Hall of Fame. They lifted that policy recently. So if you ever notice, the only numbers that were retired were Drysdale, Koufax, Junior Gilliam, Roy Campanella, Jackie Robinson, because those guys all went to the Hall of Fame. But recently they lifted that policy. And so now they've included retiring Fernando's number, who's not in the Hall. So I was glad to see the Dodgers lift that policy because there are so many LA Dodgers who deserve to have their numbers retired. Guys like Garvey, not really Eddie Murray because he's not a lifer there.
Kershaw.
But guys like, Yeah. Guys like Garvey, guys like Mike Scioscia, great Dodgers who meant a lot to that organization. So I'm glad they removed that policy and they leaned up on it.
The Royals have the same deal. Like, unless you've won a World Series and you're in the Hall of Fame, then you can be like. That's why they haven't had one in so long. They haven't won it so long. Like the last one was Cal Ripken, and like he won the title in '83 and he retired. I think in '90. I think it was 2001. But it's odd how many of these teams don't have anything. They just do the same thing. They just have these moratoriums and say unofficially retire them. That makes no sense to me. But
Hey,
Like,
Jason.
no one has worn 43 for Troy Polamalu.
What's up, Dylan?
I know.
Jason, when will Shohei Ohtani pitch for the Dodgers?
To answer your question flat out, it'll be after the All-Star break. I think he's not going to pitch until probably August. And now this is the reason why I think so. Look, number one, he's coming off his second reconstructive elbow surgery, which means that the Dodgers are really, 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 really being careful about limiting his workload, limiting his innings. Number two, the Dodgers need him more in August and September than they do in June and July. Now, from everything I've heard, Shohei is on track to be activated as a pitcher before the All-Star break happens. But if you think about what he means to them offensively in the lineup, and this is why I actually don't want him to pitch, because if he goes out there right now, like let's say he goes out and pitches tomorrow, ends up tearing that elbow again, and then we not only lose him as a pitcher, but we lose him as a hitter as well. So I think Dylan, from my standpoint as a fan, from what I've been hearing, it sounds like he'll be on the bump probably early August to help them make that stretch drive towards the postseason.
And then he'll be pitching once a week, pretty much, right?
Pitching once a week, and I would imagine they're not going to let him throw more than 50 or 60 pitches, just because of what he means to them on both sides of the mound.
Charles, do you remember being 15, 16 years old just talking smack on the Steelers?
I remember being 45 and talking smack on the Steelers, bro.
Well, yeah,
I've been doing it all my life. You're talking to the wrong guy.
That's just what my kid's just doing now.
Since I'm throwing shade, I'm going to show the Ravens can't make it to the Super Bowl with a loaded offense, which is astounding. Yeah, you
Wait
and
a
me
minute.
both.
Loaded offense. Loaded offense. Well, maybe last year, but not in years past.
Well, I think
Dylan,
this year is their best offense.
No,
in
we're
terms of
talking
weapons.
about. You can't talk about loaded offenses. When was the last time the Jaguars loaded up on offense?
Early, more 2022.
They just got Travis Hunter, brother.
I know, that's great.
And he's a better wide receiver than either one of your teams possesses.
What? Dude, Josh Palmer is a good receiver.
I just think it's so funny, Dylan. You're just an empty barrel that makes a lot of noise.
So what? At least Albero possesses a pool.
This is all you do.
Man,
Just talk.
Dylan's coming in hot tonight, guys. Watch out.
Oh, let's see.
Look, I'm not. I've
okay.
never been a Trevor Lawrence fan. So
Here's a question here.
I call him Sunshine.
I think
Yes,
so.
Patty.
Yeah, the first ballot.
Yes,
First ballot.
Miguel Cabrera will get in first ballot.
Now,
When-
will
when
it be
they-
100%?
No, he won't be unanimous. But when Miguel Cabrera won the Triple Crown in what was Jeremy 2016, 17?
It was later than that. Didn't he just retire in 2021?
What are you
So-
saying?
Yeah.
What I'm getting at is
Oh,
before
God,
before Miguel Cabrera won the Triple Crown, the last player in the American League to win it was Carl Yastrzemski in 1967. So Miguel Cabrera won the Triple Crown twice. So yeah, he gets in. He won't be unanimous. I think there will be because there were some steroid, not so allegations swirling around him. But Miguel deserves to be in there. I give him the benefit of the doubt. If he's not on a list, he gets in.
because he did. Wasn't he the MVP of that World Series with the Marlins?
Yes, he
And-
was.
No, Josh Beckett was the World Series MVP 2003. Complete game shutout on 3 days rest in the Bronx.
Against the Yankees, yeah.
I don't think he gets in. I think he absolutely deserves it, obviously, but I think the steroids thing that may follow him.
Yeah, but the
Unfortunately.
difference is the riders aren't deciding the Hall of Fame anymore. It's not
No,
up to them.
Mickey
anymore.
Cabrera's never been connected to PEDs. He's always been a great hitter.
He's never been connected, but there have been rumors, and rumors are different than connection, Dylan. You're right. It's rumored, never been connected though. So you're right. He's never been on any list. He's never been mentioned in any book. He's
David
never been
Ortiz
mentioned
has been in the Hall.
in any radio show.
Look at same thing. David Ortiz, he's in the Hall of Fame.
Gary Sheffield's like one is another one who absolutely would be in the Hall of Fame and really hasn't, but the rumors and all that other stuff. I don't. You could. I hope you're right. I hope I'm wrong. I hope that he gets in because he
The Master Chef,
Had the quickest bat speed.
John Sterling. Gary Sheffield hit a 2-run home run. How do you like that, folks? And the Yankees take a 3-0 lead.
Give me Vince Scully any day, twice of the week, and on Sundays. I'll take him over John Sterling. No offense
Really?
to Sterling.
The great John Miller.
Oh, John Miller was good. Yeah.
I hear like
That ball
NBC is.
that ball is way back there, gone, a home run. John Miller.
I heard NBC's
Miller,
getting it
It's a
back too
3-run
after
home
this
run,
year.
Johnny Damon.
Yeah, but who are they going to put in the booth, Charles?
Who are they going to put in the booth? I don't think it'll be Costas. Like I don't.
It
I don't
better
think it'll
not be.
I don't think it'll be Costas. I think he's
No,
retired.
well, two of
NBC.
the 3 NBC's most popular broadcasters are dead now. Joe
That's true.
Morgan and Bob
Joe Morgan
Uecker.
was ESPN.
I swear,
NBC.
if they stick Eduardo Perez in that booth, man, I'm F that. I'm not watching no NBC broadcast with Eduardo Perez.
I think Carl Ravage would be fine. Like if they leave him. I mean, I think that
Well, I'll
that's
tell you
that's.
this. I'll tell you this. I've met those guys at ESPN for games. And Coney's fine to me. Eduardo, nah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I say we get Charles Harris. in that
Eduardo
booth.
Perez is my buttons.
There was a time in my life there was nothing I wanted more than to actually call baseball game, be play-by-play. I do not want to do all that traveling anymore at this point in my life with my kids and all that other fun stuff.
Yeah.
Ask Vince Scully how much he even was ever home during the summer. I mean, it just never happened, bro. He was
Early. Well, guys, I'm sorry, but I have to go.
I was just getting there, Jay. I just saw your message.
Sorry about that. So
Oh, you're good.
yeah, it's always a pleasure getting on here on open mic with all you guys. Always fun talking sports. Respect all you, love all you guys. And if you want to follow me, right there, Dodger Jason on X. So with that, you guys truly take care of yourselves. Peace out and God bless.
Jay, we need you here more.
I know. Well, you know what? My schedule will start to lighten up now that I'm getting into the summer, so I will be on the show more frequently.
Me rich.
I gotta move this camera.
Okay, take care, guys.
Hey, that's actually
All right,
a little
yeah.
better now. That's actually a little better now.
Oh, you like it?
Yeah.
Hey,
I
what?
know I don't have any of my jerseys out behind me. I just realized all the hats are still on the rack.
Holy.
If you guys can see the rack behind me. I'm trying to clean it up, guys. All right, I'm trying. It doesn't mean I'm doing a good job, but I'm trying.
I want to see Rachel Bradshaw's rack.
What you do is you find an old
Jesus
steamer
Christ.
trunk or something like that, something with like a 1-foot base,
killing.
and raise your jerseys up behind you.
The jerseys
You're
don't
way
even
too
on it.
fat to have me have taken the steroids. What?
Got to be talking about Cabrera.
Oh.
That's just in recent years when he was fat. Ernie Harwell. Yeah, I agree. Ernie Harwell, I think, was Ernie Harwell is probably the best announcer to never really get one of these national jobs. Ernie Harwell for the Tigers.
Did you hear what the trade was between the Cubs and the Tigers for Ernie Harwell?
No.
It was a bag of baseballs.
It was a bag of bones.
Literally a bag of baseballs.
Literally a bag of baseballs to the Cubs because the new owners, after they paid out their salaries that year, didn't have enough money to buy enough baseballs for the season, and they needed like 60 more. And
That literally used to happen if you go back far enough to the 1930s and 20s and all that other stuff. Yeah.
Bag of baseballs and a bag of bones.
I've got a trivia question for you guys. What was Dave Winfield once traded for back in the day?
A mullet? Oh.
Chewing gum?
I remember he voided a trade one time.
Well, he got traded to the
I know he did.
He got
voided
traded to the Yankees to I'm trying to think who we got traded to.
He got traded for Claudette Washington to the Angels. And then that was why I learned about the 10-5 rule where guys could refuse a trade. And he wouldn't go. I remember that, but I don't remember what else he got traded for.
Dave Winfield, that mustache.
He eventually did go though on that trade.
Dave Winfield was traded for dinner. The Indians at the time pick up the tab on dinner. It was in a trade with the Twins, I think it was.
That must have been at the very end.
94.
He was in his 40s then. So he was a really good player, Dave Winfield. I thought,
Mr. Maine.
That's true. He was better in May than he was in October.
Well, maybe Juan Soto will be better in October than he has been in running on the bases in May.
I remember my mom gave me his book to read. Like, she wanted me to read more books. I said she don't talk about anything but baseball and football all the time. You go ahead and read Dave Winfield's book. So I've read a couple of those books.
I've got 3 books in my office.
You gonna tell us what they are?
I only have the Baltimore Orioles book in my.
I would trade the Knicks winning the NBA Finals for dinner with Carissa Thompson.
Carissa Thompson, the announcer. Yeah. She's a little old for you, man.
Yeah, she's cute though.
Carissa's like older than me. Like she's got to be like 50 years old now, right?
No, she's not. She's 43.
She's 43?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll buy that. That could be right too. I know her and Aaron.
EA. You're thinking of EA. Aaron,
yeah, it's got to be something like that. They've been on for a minute.
She's 47, Aaron Andrews.
Yeah, Aaron and I are the same age. That's what I'm saying.
They were both born on May 4th, though. But one was May 4th, 1978, and the other one was May 4th, 1982.
Well, you know an awful lot about these women, brother. You know the data.
I listened to their podcast, Calm Down with Aaron and Carissa.
Oh, I don't think I've ever watched.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, do we have a stalker? And then you saved it by saying I listen to the podcast. I was like, all right, cool, all right.
Don't joke about that. EA actually had a stalker, remember?
Dylan, what's the timeout for? We're at. You're Chris Webber, buddy. You're out of timeouts.
Enough of stalking. I've got a better idea. Who's gonna sack? I've got a better idea. Who's gonna sack Taylor's? Oh wait, she who shall not be named. When the Chiefs don't win the AFC West this year,
they're still gonna. What I think is gonna happen is they're still gonna date, but Kelsey's gonna finally retire, and then, but always remember, Josh Allen put a ring on it first before Travis Kelce did, and they're getting married this Saturday, May 31st. Josh and Haley.
Is Milroe gonna beat out? Is Milrow gonna beat out Donald?
They said they want to use Jalen Milrow as like a Cordell Stewart, like a slash.
Yeah. I can see that. There is no way on earth he beats out Darnold. No way.
He's just got to work on his passing because his mobility, the athleticism's there.
Milrow's inaccurate. He's not an accurate passer. I think he could have been a first-round pick had he actually done well at the. He was actually terrible at the Senior Bowl. He's not an accurate passer. He's too inconsistent. He's too inconsistent. I think he can pick up his inconsistency. I'm sorry.
What, Dylan?
Sorry, guys. I've got to go. I've got to go. Hit me up at Dylan S Sports One, Big League Podcast, Funky Spectrum Sports. And if you're in a DraftKings basketball draft, I'm going to be doing a bunch more the next 100 days before opening night in Philly.
All right. Dylan's our DraftKings guy. Got questions? Hit him up.
I'll also be hosting a DK stream on Thursday.
No one's gonna watch.
Nice.
Yep, there it goes. Bye, bitch. Anyway, sorry.
Jamie, you got no filter at all.
Sorry.
Oh man, I think you're gonna get my. If I interview you, I'm gonna have my channel taken down before I even get monetized, man. I'll be like,
No. I'll be respectful. Sorry. Don't
God.
Yeah, I don't know.
See, I don't like we're a sports channel, so I guess we're allowed to talk smack. I'm not sure.
This time of night, they kind of ease up on like that type of stuff compared to like early in the day, kind of like a TV just like you can kind of like you know he can kind of use the B word there here at 10:30 more than he can like 10:30 in the morning, or
So
if
you
you
can
see videos just for kids and all that other stuff.
You can kind of see Pac-Man.
Oh, you
going
never
on
know.
here.
Kids content now is a lot more X-rated than it used to be because of what's going on.
Jeremy, you're quiet down there. What are you researching?
Lots of shit.
I figured that
I
you're a walking.
Before we get out of here, I do have a quick question for you guys. Lions fans and Lions radio talk show hosts and everything have been asking this question. Why hasn't Aiden Hutchinson's extension got done yet?
They said he's planning on returning, but they don't know yet.
He's already been cleared. He's been cleared for over 2 weeks.
Yes.
But I think it's big. I think he's banking on himself, and he's waiting to see what Micah Parsons and T.J. Watt get because they're
playing the market value. Yeah.
Playing the market value because of what Myles Garrett just got. And if either one of them,
when is his contract up?
This is his 4th year. Next year is his 5th year option.
Next year.
But Brad Holmes likes to get ahead of stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I think
Jeremy,
he's already talking about it.
I think it's going to go back on the tables now that they have pulled out the interest of Trey Hendrickson. The Lions have now officially said we're not interested in Hendrickson.
Right.
So I think the focus is going to turn back to Hutchinson.
And the reason why is because Henderson was asking $40 million a year. They can't afford to have $80 million on that defensive line at the bookend.
Yep.
But that's just
I wouldn't worry much about that. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Hurricane. Go ahead.
So I think it's actually coming down to a couple of things other than just that. Maybe he's not banking on himself. It could be the fact that it's just coming down to how much of it's guaranteed, the length of the contract, and the average per year. If it's anything close to Myles Garrett, because he's already said he wants to be a Lion for life, I think he'll stay.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? But I think it's going to come down to what are those bonuses and where is the big cap hit? Because, they always like to do those low numbers up front and then have it escalate to where they have to restructure it later on to extend them out a couple of years.
There are guys that are not going to sign early in anything.
Right.
We were just talking about this, like with baseball, like the Boris clients never sign early. You don't see it as much in football, but some guys are just going to wait.
And now,
the more you wait, the better you do, the more money you get. He's smart enough to say, hey, I'm not going to sign up. I don't think the Lions are waiting on anything. I mean, there's nothing to think about. I mean, the injury notwithstanding, I don't think.
I just feel that they were waiting to see what they did, what Trey Henderson was doing, and I think now they can refocus back on Hutchinson now, because that just ended today. Jeremy, I believe that I saw that they were not pursuing Henderson today.
Right.
Was that like not even like 4 hours ago? I don't think. I think it was like 3 hours ago, maybe.
You got to kick the tires on Hendrickson because Hendrickson is an outstanding player. So I don't think they were ever really in that. But I think, like, you know, he's a great player. If you could get Henderson and Hutchinson, and you at least see if there's any chance to do that. Henderson is not staying in Cincinnati. I think there's a very good chance he holds out. Like, he's very upset with them.
Yeah,
there was a couple guys that didn't show up for OTAs today.
James Cook didn't show up.
Yep.
That's expected.
And Alex Anzalone didn't show up for the Lions, and he's not
the guy for the Eagles that they just signed didn't show up either.
Which one? Jahad Campbell?
I think that was his name. I saw it.
OTAs are not mandatory, though they're
No,
voluntary.
these are the mandatory ones. The involuntary ones was a week ago. Right now, Jahad Campbell is still rehabbing. That's why he won't be at OTAs, because he just had shoulder surgery back in March. He's not expected back till December.
I don't think the Lions have a lot to. If the bigger thing is if you can give Hutchinson's so upset that he's not going to be on the field, but I'm pretty sure they're going to offer him a deal.
All right, they're going to offer him a deal, and if he doesn't want to accept that, then they'll wait and table it till the next offseason when he's still under contract.
I don't know when that got posted, guys, but Tyreek Hill said Travis Hunter is going to be an ass clown.
Yeah, well, did you see that video of Travis Hunter struggling through the rookie camp?
I did.
It made me laugh. It made me laugh. I was like, "Oh man, they threw away."
Hey man, that man just
on this guy.
Jeremy, he just got married, man. He ain't got no energy left, man. He just had a honeymoon. You know what I'm saying? He's got to rest.
Come on. If I had that, guess what? I'm going to be laser focused because
just like
clear. I ain't got no build.
Just like Tiger Woods was winning all those golf tournaments. That was because he was playing extra holes.
That's right. You know,
and now he's dating Vanessa Trump.
Yeah, but ever since he quit having hookers, guess what? He hasn't won much, has he?
What, Tiger?
Yeah.
Well, he's not winning now. He's a zillion years old compared to the rest of them.
Hassan Reddick skipped OTAs for the Bucks.
It's not really good.
That's something he does every year anymore. He did it with the team last year. Then he did it with the Jets. Well,
Shamir Stewart did it too for the Bengals.
Yeah, Shamir Stewart. He's never been a practice guy.
That's going to get real interesting. You don't have Shamir Stewart and Henderson. Like, that's going to Cincinnati, man. They just can't get themselves together.
What the fuck? I guess a baseball player today for the Guardians rolled up his uniform to look like he was wearing 70s shorts, and then he had the black things underneath.
Who did that?
Someone for the Guardians today.
Oh my.
I don't know. And a guest we had on the show previously, Michaela Bennett, posted it, and she's like, "What in the world is this?" I'm going to try and bring her back on. She was awesome.
We're trying to get her to come back, brother.
She knew her baseball shit. She was at the winter meetings.
I've seen her before. She had a podcast of some kind.
Yeah, were you commenting then while me and Jason were talking to her that night?
Yeah, I was. But I think I've seen her. She had a podcast. There was another woman she was working with a podcast. I can't remember the name of it. I watched so many of them. But I don't. I think I've seen her before. It's not the first time I've seen her.
She's really good, man. She knew her shit. I'm surprised. Well, boys, we're at an hour and a half. We ready to call it a night?
Yeah.
Whenever you are.
Whenever you are, boss.
I'm ready. It was all baseball on open mic tonight. Obviously, maybe next week we'll be able to hit up the college top four. Going to get the buys, and then looks like no more conference champions are going to be in the final 12 now. And so
no, it's going to be no conference champions are going to get the. It means they're not going to get the first round. The first round buys aren't going to be based on the conference champions. It's just going to be straight seeding.
Sick and tired of the SEC and the Big Ten. That's all.
That was another thing. Did anyone see the SEC leaving the NCAA in 28, 29?
Yep, I
they want to. Did you hear that they want to create a thing called what is it? The Project Rudy. It's a 70-team Super League that all the big league guys, that 70 big league schools want to get into, break away from the NCAA, form their own little division, and expand the playoffs in college football that way. Project Rudy. It's based off the movie Rudy. Look it up. It said it may happen.
I just saw that today too, so I didn't even read up on it. So I know nothing about it, so I didn't really bring it up.
They want to base it off the movie Rudy by being the ultimate monopoly. Got it.
Right. That don't make sense. All right, guys. Hey, so Rav, how do people get you? Any shows coming up? Let the people know.
Yes. So definitely check us out at our Bravery Sports Podcast on YouTube. So go ahead and punch that in on YouTube, Rumble. We are doing audio now on Spotify every week. And we're doing our weekly podcast every Wednesday, and we're doing our interviews this week. We're going to have some baseball interviews here. We just had Matt Trigger, one of our guys, he was really killing the Orioles, so it's great. This week on the podcast, we're talking about Hall of Fame, retired jersey numbers for the Ravens, Ring of Honor. So we're going to talk about that, and we're going to recap the Orioles month. First talk, we're going to talk about minor league baseball, Norfolk Tides this week. So we're going to go over that as well. You guys going to like the next baseball guest we're going to have.
So, Rav, if you really wanted to have Matt on, he goes on vacation every year to Ocean City, and he calls it Fat Boy Summer Vacation. If you follow him on Facebook, he posts all the stops he makes for food. It's crazy.
As soon as NIL was passed and started to become a law in state, which supersedes any ruling by the NCAA, I said, you watch, within 10 years, the NCAA will be a defunct operation because they can't control them anymore.
This is all of American business, and I'm not going to segue into all that other stuff. But WWE, same thing now. Like, it's all just tickets are out of control. Backed out of the deal at New Orleans, that's how it is.
Right. That's exactly what I'm getting at. But people, you want me to let them know where to find me now, or what?
Absolutely. Whoever wanted to go next.
All right. You can find me on my channel, which is Kneecap Biting with the Motor City Lions. You can find me on my Facebook page at the same thing, or my profile right there, Jeremy Volrick. You can also find me on Twitter at Smoking Jeremy B, and on Instagram.
Jeremy, I need to talk to you after the show because I cannot figure something out on StreamYard. Maybe you can help me.
Okay.
Anyway, you can get me at Sports Talking It on Twitter. That is my main page. Driving to the top, I look at, I pay attention to. Maybe we're gonna have a guest next week. She's working on it. Just letting everyone know. And you can get us on Twitter. Jamie's really good at explaining that because he gets really, really into it. But absolutely hit that like and share button on the YouTube page. And yeah, we're here every Tuesday. Me and Rich will be back to our show tomorrow. I'm going to see if we can do a half hour early, Germ, so we can pop over to your show afterwards and continue the conversation. But I don't know yet. But we'll see.
Since you're both here, tomorrow is AFC and NFC West reviews.
Damn it. Oh, you should. Oh, yeah, I'll talk to you afterwards. Anyway, Jamie, how to close it out, boss?
All right, so you guys can follow me, yours truly, at Bill's Chat 1, at Bill's Mafia Chat, and also at Jamie Malloy, the unbiased journalist, at DJ Dog Tags on X, theforkball.com, and stadiumrant.com, where I write about all sports. You can also check me out at Driving to the Top Productions, as next week at 8 o'clock p.m., Joe Dalio and I, we will be resuming our Subway Conversation chat that we took a week off for. And then you can always follow us at 9 o'clock p.m. on Open Sports Mike at Driving to the Top Productions. Thank you guys very much for listening. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, like, comment, ring the bell for notifications. For more information on Driving to the Top Productions, please visit our YouTube page, Twitch stream, Facebook stream, X stream, wherever you consume your pod. Yes. Thank you very much for listening, and we'll see you next Tuesday night at 9 o'clock p.m. for Open Sports Mike on Driving to the Top Productions. Good night, everybody.
All right, folks. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for all the YouTube comments as well.